Hello, everyone. Um, it is, excuse me, Friday, December 1st, and it's about a little before 3 p.m. in my time zone, which is Pacific. Uh, it's been an adventurous news day. I'm following those developments closely, seeing what's going on with Michael Flynn, watching to see what's happening with the bill in the Senate as well. I have every reason to think that the tax scheme will probably pass. It'll have to go to reconciliation between the Senate and the House, but there's a good reason to think that they'll make it work. The donor class has determined that that's what must be done, and they're the ones with the money, and money talks. So that's relevant for the work I'm trying to do with these videos, and that is convey the reality of what it's like to be outside that usual system. We will have more people who are outside the usual system if this law passes. And even with things the way they are now, I'm not unique. If it can happen to me, it can happen to a lot of people. And so I wanted to just check in, and for the few of you who've seen the previous video, you know that I was scheduled to have lunch with my daughter on Thursday. I think I recorded it before I went to go see her. And it was great. It was what I anticipated it might be. My daughter and her partner are getting engaged, and they're engaged, and that's lovely. I'm very happy for them. And my goal was very much to be in the moment with them and not, to do everything in my power to keep my stuff from bleeding through in a way that would draw commentary or questions. And I had planned responses for ducking, that, and it seemed to mostly work, which I'm very grateful for. Sorry, I scratched my nose. So there's that. Since that time, Thursday, I had lunch with my daughter, and then I went, we walked around a little bit. For most people, that wouldn't be considered walking at all, but I think I walked a couple of blocks in total, and for me, that's way too much. When I got home Thursday after dropping my car off at the mechanic to have it serviced so I could renew my tabs, I had to take a cab home. Obviously, I couldn't drive home. It was only about a mile, but it took almost an hour to get here because it was a busy time of day and yada. And by then I had stiffened up considerably. Managed to make it inside the house from the cab, and then just proceeded to weep. It hurt so bad. But it was a winning day. I accomplished several objectives. I saw Jen, and I didn't cry, and I didn't talk about me, and that was important to me. I was very grateful I was able to do that, and I was able to really fully be there with her and her sweetheart and really genuinely celebrate with them, and I'm grateful for that. And got my car in for the servicing that it needed, and then yesterday, Thursday the 30th. Yeah, I met Jen on Wednesday. Sorry, I'm losing track of my days, which is a common problem. Wednesday the 28th is when I met them for lunch. It was my last recording. Friday was a day of a bunch of errands. My car had been dropped off on Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, I talked to the mechanic a couple of times, and they, did what they could do within the money I was able to spend and up to the waiver amount for our state, meaning I spent just enough money to prove I was serious about it. And so I got the word that the car was ready to pick up, and I went and called for a cab, and the mechanic is like less than a mile from me. It's not that far. I know how to get there. And the gentleman who arrived, I called like an actual cab company. I didn't just call Uber or Lyft. I called an actual cab company because I'm retro like that. And the guy, he was not the sharpest tool in the shed. And I was giving very specific, okay, up ahead in 2 blocks you see a light, we're going to take a right there. It's pretty clear, right? I didn't say get on the freeway heading southbound in the opposite direction, we need to go. I said take a right here. Oh, we did a merry East Side tour, didn't we? And I did something I never do, which is I gave in, and I gave in to frustration. It was wrong, but I did it anyway, especially since he was yelling at me and telling me it was all my fault. I'm like, no. Listen to the words I said. I gave you very specific instructions. Dude, you just can't follow them. And I wasn't backing down because I'm tired of, especially men, telling me that even though I gave them very specific, clear instructions that are not ambiguous and not open to interpretation, then later saying, well, I know what you meant was blah, blah, blah instead. Oh, really? Why? Because that's not what I said? Fuck you. So, okay, yeah. Okay, enough cabbie bashing. That was fun. I have a lovely segue, lane change, blink, blink, blink. I have a friend or acquaintance that has seen the first video in this series, and she made a nice comment and then came back, and I had said thank you, and then she made another comment, and then I said thank you to that, and then she scrapped all of that. And instead made it into her a big long comment that I just chose to comment on favorably and just leave. Bless her heart, she comes from a very caring place, and she says, don't do what Milo's doing, and if you're in a situation, go to the ER, and there's the Salvation Army out there, and there are caseworkers, and there are, and she's right, there are. There are these resources out there. And I support you in availing yourself. If you are in a situation where you need those things and you can get those things, by all means, go for it. I would never discourage anyone from doing that. In my situation, the things have gotten so far down the rabbit hole. It doesn't work like that, sweetie. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. Until the other day, when I finally wanted to order something from Amazon, I hadn't checked my email in 6 months. I live in an apartment complex that gives me a pretty big box to have my mail in. It was stuffed to the gills. I was surprised. I'd actually had my mail taken away before, where they put a thing in saying, you must not live here anymore because you're not picking up your email. I checked it, and I hadn't gotten to that point, but I was close. When you're in this much pain, walking to a remote mailbox, like I don't want to be a complete wuss and start my car up for a 1/10 of a mile drive. That's kind of bad for the environment. But it hurts to walk. Every step is an agony. So, and I don't go out much. Used to be I went out mostly for doctor appointments and the occasional grocery store. Well, now I don't have the doctor appointments, so... And I tend to order in as much as I can for if I need groceries or what have you. So it's extremely rare that I leave. But this week I had stuff I had to do. So, no. Okay. But I've looked into some of the things that she mentioned. I've utilized them in the past. There are resources I could avail, ... if it didn't take everything out of me just to try and stand. I haven't done laundry in 2 months. I'm now buying used clothing. And, just like, okay, just add to the laundry pile. I can't even get to my laundry room. My dishes in the kitchen are stacked up. You don't even want to know. Everything is hard. Everything is hard. Just standing. I mean, I feel victorious if I can stand up, do a bio break a few times a day, feed my cat, and get myself some water. And bonus, on a good day, I might be able to nuke something in the microwave. That's a lot for me to do. People, it's like, seriously, when you are in this much pain and mobility becomes, slim to none and slim's out of town. And one of the things I've run into with caseworkers and such is they very understandably want X, Y, Z, in terms of paperwork and documentation. And one of my most important pieces of documentation has gone missing. It is a divorce decree from 1987, and it certifies my name change from blah back to my birth name. And my driver's license has my hyphenated married name, but my passport had my birth name only and not my hyphenated. And it starts getting complicated. And to go get a replacement of that divorce decree to clear that all up, even when I had it, I had people who were like, this is too old. Like, it's an official document signed by the government. Piss off, it's not too old. But I've misplaced my copy, and now to go get another copy would take probably at least 2 months and several visits to a courthouse that's about 50 miles away. An all-day session, because it's a document that they keep off of the system for many of the divorces and stuff. You can just order it and you get it. But back in these days, back in 87, the two involved parties had their SSNs typed right on the forms. So my SSN and my ex-husband's SSN are right on there, and I can see that would be a very good reason why they would keep that out of the, the mainstream, let me order a copy online or, send 12 copies to my friends kinds of thing. So there's that. My friend's comments about, you can go to the ER. I've been thinking a lot about that. That's true. With this respiratory thing I have going, where if right now I'm not moving too much, so you don't hear a lot of wheezing, you don't hear me coughing because I'm trying very hard not to move. But going out over the last couple of days has really made this respiratory thing much worse. And I get a cough so hacking that, I just lay here and just, have to kind of stay calm as I try to acquire breath again. I'm just hacking and hacking and hacking. But if I go to the ER, that would be the one reason. So can you guys make me a little less sick so I can be slightly more comfortable while I'm dying? Please, that's not what that amounts to. Get an antibiotic and go on my merry way, assuming that's what I need. It feels like it. This is deep into my chest. It's been here for a while, and it's the last couple of days being out in the cold, even with a coat and a scarf, and my system is just I have little to no defenses left, and not a surprise, and I wouldn't change a thing. I would still go out to lunch, and see my daughter joyfully, and I needed to get my car done, and so it was worth doing. I'm just feeling crappy. But going to the ER means that you get seen in that moment for what's going on with you, and they'll treat whatever's emergent or very pressing, and then you're told to go on your merry way and check in with your primary care physician. It's certainly true for pain meds. You cannot get pain meds at an ER except for maybe 3 days worth. And they look at you funny if you ask for pain meds, even if you're bleeding on the floor. So don't ask. And you're supposed to go to your primary care physician for coordinating all this other stuff. And if I had a primary physician whom I didn't know hundreds of dollars to, who would let me come in for, to be treated, then that'd be great. But I don't. And so, oh well. I like her as a doctor. She's a good doctor. I don't begrudge her in any way. But that's the reality of it. So I just wanted to share a few thoughts. They're rough and tumble as usual. And yes, I will work on getting better lighting in this corner of the house. I apologize. These are all in mood lighting. But anyway, namaste till the next time.